okay yesterday? Yes, no?
Yes.
Good. I'm glad.
It did.
Roger.
A lot of insurance claims.
Yeah.
No.
Good.
So, this was hilarious. If it can.
I hope so. We'll see.
I didn't even go onto my county email afterwards yesterday. So.
Can I join you here? Well, maybe I should sit in the back.
Penny Wegman, Terry Hunt.
Bill, my steps ripped right off my thing and the building code don't match anymore. Well, you don't have long ordinance.
Oh, yes.
Remember we talked about that?
I don't remember that. Selective member.
Mm-hmm. I mentioned it. Barb.
That's Mark. Rustling.
I realized I poured myself a coffee and left it in the other room. So
Yeah. It does. No.
John, how you doing?
Hi, John. How are you? I'm good.
That's here.
Speak the truth.
You didn't know we had a bunch of philosophers.
No, you hadn't sent me the. Now I have it. But that's not the one you printed.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
that's what's in the agenda, so I'm not sure. how
Okay.
I got to-
That's okay.
Sorry.
Thank you.
No.
Yeah. Oh, we've got a quorum now, so that's good.
Roger, is the Zoom meeting information somewhere? Alma.
Hopefully she has power today.
Thank you.
That one script. Yes, we have refrigerators split. That's how many.
Good morning.
Review that, so I'll just. Thank you so much.
Hey Patsy, how are you? Thank you for your reply yesterday.
Oshite. So Lewis and Allen are not. Okay. But with 5, we're okay to go. Okay, it being the hour of 9 a.m., I'd like to call the Human Services Committee for Wednesday, August 12th, 2020 to order. Motion and a second to approve the minutes from the July 15th, 2020 meeting.
Call the roll real quick.
Oh, sorry, Gabby, why don't we call the roll before we look at those minutes?
Leonard,
Here.
Allen, Barreiro,
Barreiro here.
Davis,
Davis here.
Oshite,
Here.
Lewis. Okay, you have a quorum.
All right, Theresa and Mark, thanks for joining in. Approval of the minutes from July 15th. Bill, John, seconds. Is there any discussion on these? Gabby, if you call the roll.
Leonard,
Yes.
Barreiro,
Barreiro, yes.
Davis,
Davis, yes.
Oshite,
Yes.
and Surges.
Yes.
Okay.
Is there anybody in the audience for comments or online? Okay, monthly financial reports. I believe those are attached. Does anybody have any comments on those? Okay, Veterans Assistance Commission. Jake, are you on with us?
Yes, good morning, Mr. Chairman. How are you?
Doing well. How about yourself, Jake?
Doing swell. Today we're reporting on the month of June. All of our metrics are pretty much in average with, or pretty much similar with the state of Illinois, with the exception of our pension claims. They're going about a month faster than the average Illinois veterans pension claim. Almost 9,000 claims pending total for the month of June. 132 of those belong to our office. We filed 12 applications for disability compensation, 1 application for a VA pension, 4 healthcare applications, and 2 appeals, with 88 forms completed total. Our clients received $160,000 in new benefits in the month of June, and no financial assistance expenditures, although we continue to help with some ancillary things that we don't normally report on, such as connecting veterans with nonprofits that can help with their situation due to COVID. And one example of that is we were able to hook a veteran up with the ComEd CHAMP program, which is a program for veterans with ComEd. They were able to take care of $1,000 in back electric bills for him and get him back on solid ground. And then also just want to report that starting on Monday, the Illinois Housing Development Authority began accepting applications for emergency rental assistance for households impacted by COVID-19. There's a short window of applications for that, but up to $5,000 in assistance through the state of Illinois. And that's for everybody, not just veterans. And that concludes my report.
Jake, if I can ask you a question, if I look at the highs and lows on the commission's claim report,
Yes.
March seems to spike up around 620,000, while June is diminished at 160,000.
Sure.
Is that cyclical, seasonal? Are those year over year sort of numbers, or just?
No, the 160,000 I would attribute directly to COVID. So that's kind of a lagging statistic. So the money that's coming in this month is for claims that were filed 3 to 4 months ago, which would have been right when COVID kind of started. So we're seeing there's not really a delay on anything we're doing as far as we're still being able to file the claims. We're sending them in. On the VA's end, though, they delayed processing examinations. So most of our claimants require an examination by the VA. They put those on hold for a while during COVID to protect everybody. And also one of the major record centers, the National Personnel Record Center in St. Louis, where a lot of military veterans records are held, stopped serving both requests that we put in for records and requests that the VA put in for records. So I believe they're just getting up back and running. So that had an impact, especially on our claimants who have never filed a claim before. The VA has to go there to get their records as part of the adjudication process. So that number you see there is definitely related to COVID. I'm happy to report that the early statistics I'm seeing for July are much better than that.
Perfect. Thank you for having a command of that information, Jake. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Jake? Anyone online? Okay, super. Sylvia, let's go to Department of Human Resources.
Good morning, everybody. Our Blue Cross Blue Shield invoice, as you can see, is $1,258,879,000. We continue to monitor this, and as you can see, we continue to trend in the right direction. If we go on to the next one, we have 54 participants in MERP. And open enrollment will be October 1st to the 30th, and we will be, again, assuring that we offer that benefit to the employees whom that might be applicable for. And our termination report, there are 8 terminations on our report. We've been really busy because there have been a lot of job applicants across the county. As you can see, there's 168. And our quarterly EEO report is attached. You can see gender, race, and handicap veteran data. If there are any questions on that. Our new hire report, as you can see, has 12 across the various departments throughout the county. And we continue to deploy our sexual harassment training online for all of our employees, as well as our management and elected officials. Currently, there are 736 that have completed the training for employees and 128 for management and elected officials. So we are very pleased with that. I won't go through all of the graphs because we have a pretty full agenda today. As far as the workman's comp, they are the same graphs that we have every month from page 24 to 32. I would like to focus on page 32. The ones for 24 through 31, we continue to trend in a positive direction. We continue to work with the various departments, especially the sheriff. We have a monthly call with them in order to mitigate and assure that we all are keeping our objective on assuring that we are closing claims. And as you can see on page 32, from 12/1/2014 to 11/30/2017, there were 246 claims.
Can you hear me all right? It's a lot of times my cellular reception is pretty bad down here.
Terry, we can hear you just fine.
Oh, I just gave, I left a message on there that's got the,
That was Terry on the phone with someone else. He's muted.
Sylvia, please go ahead.
Okay, okay, just want to make sure it's okay. And again, we're on page 32, and you can see that from 12/1/2017 to 11/30/2020, we have 200 claims, of which our open claims are 759,147. I cannot share enough of how the collaboration with the sheriff, with CCMSI, and again, having a senior HR generalist just focusing on workman's comp has really had the impact that you see. And it's very important because it's very costly for the county. So if you have any questions on that, please let me know.
And Sylvia, if I can chime in again just for a second, you know what, I oftentimes know that when we get to budgets and budget hearings, that oftentimes we say, well, we need one more person or we need a half a person, and it's just reflective of a line item that doesn't mean much. But our line items here correlate very specifically to what we're able to achieve by having that extra individual. And while, yes, it's an increase in expense, it is dynamically offset by the savings. And I hope that as we go through the budget process that we realize, sometimes there is a cause and effect there that's genuine. So thank you.
Thank you. And then the last item is the discussion of the 2020 holiday schedule. there has been an adjustment, and the state and the county is required to add the November 3rd election date to our employees' observed holidays for 2020. So I just wanted to share that with the Human Services Committee.
Any questions for Sylvia? Anyone on the line? Sylvia, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Do we have anything for compliance?
No.
For old business, for those members of the committee that may have received an email from me stating that after the last Human Resources Committee and everything that was put together for the benefits administration package, that the challenges seemed insurmountable and that we were not going to make deadline, and I was trying to cushion discussion for this meeting. And I am very pleased to say that having met with Mike Baker and Sylvia, we were able to come up with a strategy that we thought could be implemented. And when we brought that to Alma, Patrick, Patsy, and the rest of the outside consulting team, I believe, well, let me not say anything and let's direct this to Patrick and say, why don't you bring us up to speed?
Sure. We are currently 12 weeks into the project. By all estimates, we're about 4 to 5 weeks still behind schedule. We have 50 days to go live. So that's 7 weeks to potentially make up about 4 weeks plus.
Patrick, I believe in you, brother. Come on.
I believe in me too.
There we go. Is Alma on the line with us?
Yes,
Alma,
I am on the.
The simple question is, will we make deadline, and and do you have concurrence on that?
Cliff, we're going to try our best to make the deadline of October 1st. Obviously, with a lot of modifications, the scope has been changed a lot. So that's kind of what I can.
If you don't mind, could I describe the change that we've made, and then I'll allow you to beat me up when I butcher it. The goal that we had was to bring over all of the backwards data that for an employee's record into the live data for them to be able to review and make choices with. That proved we might need 2 years to make that happen. So we made the decision to move forward without that data. Again, in my personal opinion, we have been bending over backwards in this COVID situation to reduce as much face-to-face interaction as we possibly can. And that going forward, we're moving to the benefits platform allowed zero face-to-face interaction. It was all done online. I get that the maneuver that we're making now may in fact cause a whole lot of phone traffic into Sylvia's office to say, I'm sorry, what did I have before versus where are we going now? I don't know that we can get around that unless we pulled that data forward, but I would rather take that hit and rip the Band-Aid off one time this year than to try and face it time and time and time again, or continue to burden the process with pulling all that data forward. I mean, part of it wasn't even proving to be financially viable. Alma, am I even remotely accurate on that?
Yes, you are correct. We are going to, instead of having what Alight would call a passive enrollment for employees where only the ones making changes would have to go into SmartBen, at this time, we're going to have an active enrollment where every employee in the county would have to basically re-enroll with all their current benefits. So yes, you're correct. That is probably going to have an impact on phone calls that will be coming into the HR office. So.
Patrick?
But to also address that, we had purchased a program from Alight where there'll be I don't know if it's a
from your
1-800
microphone.
number or, I'm sorry. We had purchased a program from Alight, and the program allows our employees to call into that, and it would walk them through the registration themselves. They would be typing while they're on the phone. For
Oh my
that
gosh,
employee.
dynamite. So,
We had to put, oh, sorry. We had to put the frequently asked questions together for Alight yesterday. And so we made sure that, to Patrick's point, one of the frequently asked questions was, how do I have someone assist me through this? And it's the 1-800 number. The problem with that is that Alight's not going to know what their benefits are. And that's going to be the challenge. So I did reach out to Roger yesterday, and I'm not sure if you had an opportunity, because I was thinking if there's a way to extract from New World an executive summary page for each employee. I'm getting ready to author the communication pieces that will go in US mail to all of the employees so that they understand what open enrollment is going to look like. And I thought, if possible, if we could add an executive summary page that we extracted from New World that said, Cliff Sturgis, these are your benefits, just in a summary format as a reference point to each employee. I don't know if that's feasible. I just reached out to Roger on that yesterday.
my personal,
Sylvia, this is Alma. To answer that question, the answer would be yes. And actually, that's a report that you and your staff have access to run for current benefits, and actually was provided by Patsy to HR before as well.
So that is the summary of all of the employees. What I'm looking for is just an individual page for each employee.
Well, I think you'll have the data, and then you would have to manipulate it whatever way you want to produce it to employees in the county.
Right.
But the data
So,
is there. You're able to
yes.
extract it. Yeah.
And that's why I reached out to Roger, because we were looking for an easier approach so that it was just one page for each employee. But I do realize that we have all of the summary.
Yeah.
So
as far
I
as
don't know the answer.
As far as New World, that's the data. The data is in there. There's no executive summary, nothing that can be provided from New World.
Alma, this is Roger. Just all we need is the data in a delimited format. We'll merge it into a letter. That's all we'll need to do. Nancy or Davis can work on that.
Thank you, Roger.
I haven't seen the email. I just pulled it up, but that's as long as we can get it exported from the report to file, we can create the merge. And
thank you, Roger.
and I truly appreciate everybody's cooperation on trying to make this happen. And if I could be a caveman just for a minute, if you send me something in the mail and expect me to find it to do this versus sending it to me in my email where the person on the phone can go,
We do both.
go to your inbox. It's
We
right.
do both.
And even then I find a way to screw it up. So,
Me too.
And I just want to take a minute. Does anybody have any comments or questions at this juncture for this? Anyone online? I do want to take a minute to, Mike Baker, you are truly an amazing guy who flies at 20,000 feet. To be able to walk into that meeting and acknowledge the struggles that we're having and on the fly come up with a solution that honestly Michael did nothing with. He pushed it downhill and staff did it all. But if Mike hadn't identified that at that minute, at that level, we wouldn't be where we're at right now, and I appreciate that. And anybody who's giggling at me, yes, I'm putting Mike on a pedestal for a minute, and I'm sure it was Patrick that did it all, but let me just throw it out there. So
That's fine. I just wanted to give Alight credit because at the last meeting, they did recommend this as well.
super. Okay. And Sil, help me. Who is the very nice lady from Alight that?
Caitlin?
Oh my gosh.
Johnson.
She is just, anybody that is hearing my voice that knows Caitlin, well done. I mean, she is just truly a workhorse and a smile on her face for unsurmountable tasks. And
She really is. And
really is. So anyhow, okay. Any questions on this whatsoever? Thank you. New business presentation by Michael, Group Alternatives.
Great. Good morning, everyone. It's good to see everyone. So we have a financial update. We finished our first year leaving IPBC, and it was successful, I believe. So before I go into the presentation, have you heard feedback from county members, employees from the change that you want to share?
I think that, Mike, and I'm going to get these words wrong, but the prescription drug carrier, company, provider changed, and there was a minor hiccup at that time that I believe was addressed, and short of that, I don't believe there was one complaint that came forward to us. So in terms of minimizing disruption, except for that, I think this could not have gone smoother.
It's great to hear. So we'll walk through an update and kind of where we're headed for the future. So this is looking back. We'll go to, I think you're familiar with the bar graph. So we finished the year with a surplus of $1,047,000. To remind the county, we did not change funding rates. So you did not have an increase to build that surplus. We left your funding rates exactly at what you were paying IPBC the prior year. So if you...
Mike, first off, anybody who's not impressed with that number, please slap yourself in the face and take a look at it again. That's huge. That's huge. Is it what we projected? Are we ahead or behind what we projected that number to be?
We're slightly ahead.
Okay.
So I think with Blue Cross, the number was about 800,000 we were projecting, and there was greater with some others. And then the other thing to consider that we didn't put on here is you were going to have a funding increase with IBBC, which that makes this another $250,000 larger than what you would have paid. So you would be at 1 million, call it 1,300,000. And then there's an additional credit you'll be receiving in your September, October bill from Blue Cross for $122,000 for stop loss claims that were paid in the run out. So you really won by about $1.4 to $1.5 million. And then on top of that, we've negotiated an 18-month rate guarantee or contract. So we have the stop loss and the administration is all locked up for the next 18 months, which will get us on the January 1st cycle, which was a desire of the board. So I think we accomplished aligning contracts with deductibles and open enrollment, and then delivered the savings for you. So all positive news. The other piece, this is slightly confusing. So when you look surplus, this is surplus by plan. So what you see here is your most successful plan is the HMO Blue Advantage. That's the HMO BA. They're generating the largest surplus. The PPO is a little tighter. Now the PPO should get a greater surplus heading into this current plan year because we removed 19 retirees to the Humana plan. So their claims are going to come off, and we predict about a $300,000 claim savings over the next 18 months for that. So the other thing that we're tracking this, and so as we head to 2022, we'll be looking at the plans and saying, should we be adjusting the rates accordingly based on the plan merits? So we didn't have enough data to do that for this coming January 1st. And with COVID, everything that's, in the benefit administration, we said, all right, we're getting the data, we're building the structure. Going forward, we're going to make recommendations based on the 6 plans the county offers, because you really have 6, even though it shows 3 plans, you have 6 plans. You have union, non-union. So, and the surplus here at 1.46 million, the difference is when we show you the other page, we're taking off life insurance, wellness expense, our consulting fee. So this is just comparing funding rates of the medical plans to the cost of the medical plans. But then when you compare funding rates with those other expenses, you still generated the surplus of over $1 million. Any questions on that piece? All right, I won't go through this. This is just another way to slice it. So diving into the data, this is just PPO data. Again, something that the county, we will always be reviewing is how do we get more data on the HMO. So this is only the PPO, which is about 1/3 of the population on the health plan. They are the highest utilizers on the health plan. So this is MRIs and CT scans on an elective basis. And that means I'm not an inpatient, I'm not having a mandatory MRI. I went to a doctor, I've got a possible tear in my, knee, ACL, MCL, right? Doctor says, I think we should get an MRI. I have time to set up that MRI, right? So this is your employee data. So on the top there, you had 38 MRIs in the last 12 months at an outpatient hospital. The average cost for those 38 MRIs was $1,736. You had 33 elective MRIs at a freestanding clinic or at the doctor's office. And the cost for those MRIs was $527. So you can see the cost savings potential on MRIs is $1,209 per MRI. Hospitals make a killing on lab work, CT scans, MRIs. And so you can see on the CT scans, you can save $1,700. Thus, we're going to show you at the end that if we can move half, which is a big goal, we won't hit this in 1 year, but if we can move half of your elective MRI and CT scans, the county could save $113,000. And that also saves your members' money in deductible and out of pocket. So we're going to recommend at the end, we're going to be rolling out a new program that will entice the county's employees and their dependents to shop for MRIs and CT scans.
Mike, just so we're clear, you're not offering a lesser quality scan. It's the exact same scan. We're just educating our people to say, we could collectively keep our costs down if you just go to Walmart instead of going to Walgreens.
Correct.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mr. Leonard.
Yeah, Mr. Baker, I wanted
We'll
to
make
ask.
that more eloquent than what I just said.
No, you did a wonderful job there. One thing that I'm concerned with is for the average employee, spouse, or dependent that needs an MRI or a CT scan, how do they know or go about finding alternative sources?
Correct. So we're going to add a program on January 1st called Benefit Value Advisor. So your member can call Blue Cross, they can call that number, they can go online, and if they, that will do the shopping for them, help them set the appointment up, and then if they use the lower cost MRI or CT facility, they'll get paid a check. The health plan pays the check, it comes out of the health plan, but if we're gonna save $1,200 for them to shop and use a lower cost facility, they can get up to potentially $500. So it's anywhere from $25 to $500, depending on the service and how much the county would save and the member would save. So that's how we're gonna try and engage.
That is great, and these are essentially non-emergency services, so they can take a day or a week or 2 weeks in order to shop and find another market. And then the benefit to the employee, because it's always how does the employee benefit, is they're going to get an incentivized check of $25 on up.
Correct.
For using the other services.
Correct.
Other locations. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So we have just some year-over-year data to kind of walk you through more data about comparing the trust cost to the county being on a standalone basis with Blue Cross. So when you look at it, you paid a fixed fee, just like a fully insured to the trust. And then they had a complicated formula about what was your net cost. And they showed you, we reimburse you here, but then we charge you back here. This is just your claim cost. So when you look at medical cost, this is PPO only. It's your per member per month. That's what PMPM stands for. And when we look at members, that's employees, spouse, and children. So that's everyone on the plan. So the year before, under IPVC, your average per member per month on your claims underneath the stop loss was $503. Your average over the new year was 511. That's a 1.6% increase on your PPO. So that's on the net basis. It was higher on the gross. Again, that's why we buy stop loss. When we pull it out, we're more concerned with the net and what the non-large claimants are in how they're impacting the claim. So that's a win, and that's one of the reasons you saved the $1,047,000. RX cost, that was up slightly at 9.5%. Now RX trend is 15%, depending on who you talk to, 10 to 15%. So we're on the lower side. We're actually below what RX trend is on a per member per month. But we are able to now dive in, and if we look at what's your average script cost. But we negotiate, one of the things we did when we did the analysis is we had your prescription file repriced. And so the trust, your average cost per script was $185.18. On a direct basis, your average cost per script was $153.73. So why is the cost per member per month going up? We did have a increase in the number of scripts taken. It was about a 30% increase. So even though our ingredient costs came down, there was an increase in the number of scripts taken by your members.
Can you quantify that into buckets at all, or?
We'll work on diving into the data and see what changed so we can.
I mean, and my question is probably specific to, we do these biometric screenings to identify groups. Is there a correlation between we've identified this groups and these groups and the scripts count has gone up because of that, or is there no correlation whatsoever?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if it was a spike in high cost, cancer treatment, or was it diabetes, something like that. So we'll dive into it. I'll have Morgan, our analyst, get us.
And the other thing, Mike, that I've seen is in my generation, you went to your Osco or Walgreens or whatever, you picked up your prescription. Now I go to my parents' home and they have things that are shipped to them, and it's like, what is this, an Army surplus store? And it's huge. And so I'm wondering, is that increase in quantity because of it's a 3-month shipment or a 6-month shipment, or is it an individualized cost per person and people are taking more medicine?
Yeah, this is just taking more medicine. So they look at scripts per 1,000 covered. So that's how the scripts /1,000, the way the health insurance industry kind of normalizes data is what's the utilization per 1,000 members. So it's an increase in your per 1,000 members. So we'll find out what conditions, there's certain conditions, and with Sylvia and her benefit team, we can work on target wellness communication. We actually just rolled out as our new organization that we partner with, or that we merged with, has a wellness team that we've given to Sylvia's team. So we can now target message the county's members on what we find here.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I want to add, they're fantastic. I mean, they really are an incredible group of folks that really know how to listen and target in on the messaging. And we send the newsletter out every month that every one of you should be receiving via email. And there's also a survey in there for all of our employees right now to try to get a better feel on what's important to our employees for wellness. So they're fantastic, Mike. Thank you.
And just as we dovetail into this, I remember when I came here about 2 years ago, we relied on our cooperative with IPVC exclusively. And I remember hearing comments about the broker they had there and the relationship we had with them, and that what we wanted was an interactive broker that could help us with wellness benefits, that could help analyze our needs, that could put this together. And here we are just 2 years past that point with a wonderful relationship. Mike Baker's team, for those of you that don't know, has just merged with an even larger company. which brings even more resources to us. And one might buff back and say, oh my gosh, that means we're not going to have that interaction with Mike and his specific team. Quite the opposite. Mike has taken that and brought even more to us. So everything that we've tried to do, albeit, at least if you had me involved, I was clumsy at getting to it. Michael has brought it through Sylvia and her staff, and we are making that impact. It's how much? 1.2 something million worth of impact. That's good. And the services continue to increase, and we're dialing into the items that we wanted to. And I get it. This isn't sexy stuff like a bridge or a, something like that. But this is nuts and bolts to the people that really, these are the people that work for us. This is our dedication to our employees and our staff, and we're doing the job. Bill?
Yes, Cliff, I'd like to say, I think you hit it right on the button. One point that I'd like to make here is when you take a look at not only what we have saved, which was, I think, $1,047,000, but then the other costs that we are saving too, which equates to about 1.4 million. That is an 8% decrease in an industry that is going up, what, 5-6% a year?
Correct.
So it's pretty incredible, and I thank all of you for all the work you've done.
Thank you. Yeah, it wasn't easy. We did it together. So it's a joy to work with you and serve you. We have a great team. So we will keep, it's what we tell our clients is it's a battle, right? Healthcare is a battle of the big hospital systems, the big PBMs, pharmaceutical benefit managers, the drug manufacturers. We've got our employees that, we battle chronic conditions, right? So if we fall asleep on it, the budget will go, your dollars will be taken quickly. So that's why we invest in technology. We work with you closely. We throw lots of ideas at the HR team. We want to throw ideas. We don't want to scare you with ideas, but we want you to know what you should be considering so that you're staying ahead of it. So we're in this together.
Mike, are any of your team on the line with us?
They are not. They're on vacation.
Michael W. and Heather, equal to Caitlin. Just incredible people. Thank you for having them. Keep them, Michael. Keep them.
I fully intend to. So they tell me they're happy. So we will keep them moving forward. So here's one last Springbuck report that just shows you your net claims are actually down when you take out your large claimants on the PPO. So again, there's more that we can do. We will continue to research if we can get your HMO data into Springbuck. Blue Cross is trying to change how they report that fixed capitation, but they haven't gotten there yet. So we'll keep pushing them. Some recommendations that we're working on, and there's others that will be coming. So we're going to add the benefit value advisor. There's a slight increase in a fee to add that, but we think with the potential savings, it's worth it. So we're going to add that for 2021. I put a point 2 here is we should look at adding a health savings account plan for 2022. So I won't go into a lot of detail on that, but that is something that should be offered to all of your members as you approach retirement. So it's not for everyone. So that's why we say add, not replace your current plans. But essentially what a health savings account does is you have to have a qualified high deductible health plan. So if you're in that as an employee, you can put money into a health savings account tax-free. And that money rolls over each year that you don't use, that whatever you don't use rolls over. Think of it as your 403B, but for healthcare. And what happens is when you get to retirement age and you go to Medicare, whatever's in your HSA, you can use to pay your Medicare premiums or any of your Medicare out-of-pocket tax-free. So it's the only place in the tax code that money goes in tax-free, it grows tax-free, and it comes out tax-free. And your members can use that money in the current year that they have the HSA tax-free. So we're going to be working, we don't want to overwhelm the county with COVID and everything else. We'll be working with Sylvia and her team to show options, and then we'll be bringing that to you probably first quarter of 2021 just to start to look at it and say, is this a viable option for the county? So the other program we're working on with Blue Cross for this coming January would be for the HMO and the PPO. It's 0.3 is a coupon RX program. So I'll just give you a quick synopsis, but the RX industry is an interesting industry to say the least. And so you look at certain drugs, I'll pick on a specialty drug called Humira. You hear ads for it. So these high cost drugs, Humira is about between $5,000 and $6,000 a month, right? It started at about $2,000 a month back when it came out. And it was originally for rheumatoid arthritis only, and now they can write it for 9 different. So what's happened is co-pays have gone up significantly for members. So a lot of plans have a $250 to $500 copay for a drug like Humira. So what Humira has done is they've added a coupon for your members. So they go to the pharmacy and they pay nothing. And those coupons can be up to $1,500. Every drug manufacturer has a different coupon. So what the coupon program does is it changes your copay for any drug. There's a list that Blue Cross has. We're working on it. They piloted this program this year, and we're working to see if they will implement it for us this January. So if the drug has a coupon on a monthly basis, whatever the coupon is, the copay goes up to. So if it's a $1,500 coupon per month, your copay is $1,500. Your member gets the coupon, they're still going to pay zero. And the reason we do that is if we don't raise the copay to match the coupon, so if you have a $75 copay, the coupon covers the $75. The rest of that coupon that's left, it doesn't get used. It doesn't reduce the county's cost. So you're paying for a $6,000 drug when there's a coupon that could drop that cost to $4,500. So we believe if Blue Cross is rolling out the kinks, they piloted this year, we're pushing them to let us have that for all the plans on January 1st. It could potentially save the county between $200,000 and $400,000 just for a list of about 30 drugs.
Michael, I think Mark Davis has a question.
Yes, it's back one topic on the HSAs. I was just curious as to long-term care insurance expense. Is that an eligible expense for those funds?
Yes, it is.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
Did that answer? Yes.
It did.
And Michael, on this coupon program for Enbrel and what else?
Humira, it's a lot of your specialty drugs.
These are life-altering drugs for people that are taking these. I have a son who suffers from ankylosing spondylitis, and it is a arthritic, degenerative situation. And my son is 27 years old, captain of his high school football team. He's a little old man without these drugs. And and when you talk about an expense that's this high, I'll fight this battle all day long. I mean, this is life-altering, so.
Yeah, this is just great defense, right? I don't know how long this program will work. However, Humira is in the top 3 drug expense for 95% of our clients. Once you're on Humira, you're on Humira. So it's now $72,000 a year. So if we can find a way to save you money, we will continue to push. So we will let you know if that's added. We're working with Dee Roberts. She's been great to work with at Blue Cross. So we'll let you know on that. So,
and again, on some of these, Mike, I have a tendency to look at these drugs as curative drugs and maintenance drugs.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in this is not a drug that you're taking to seek a cure. This is a Band-Aid that allows you to live your life. So,
right.
So you're not running away from this. So meeting this head on, thank you.
You're welcome. And then we'll be, number 4, we just, significant expense when I didn't show the slides in Springbuk, but your diabetic population is on average costing the health plan about $23,000 a year versus your typical member is running, if you look at your per member per month, you're at about $7,200. So we're reviewing, we're doing the wellness campaigns right now, and Sylvia and the benefit team, we're looking at different programs for diabetes and the pre-diabetic population as well. So how do we prevent people from becoming type 2 diabetic? So there'll be more to come. So 2 and 4 will be working this fall and be presenting ideas and strategies to you in early 2021 for consideration for 2022. So there's a couple other strategies Sylvia and I are working on as well. So any questions? Thank you for your time. Have a great day.
I think do not run far, my friend. So,
The contributions for
Okay.
2021.
so if we're on new business, Sylvia,
Yes, so what you have that I handed out to you, because Joe Onzik, Michael Baker, myself worked on getting the final 2021 monthly health and dental contributions. Oh, is my mic off? Sorry. So the 2021 monthly health and dental contributions need to be approved and voted on, so you have them in front of you. Michael, would you like me to talk to it, or would you like to talk to the PPO 3.50 and the HMO 2.65?
for Theresa and Mark, do they have a copy of this sheet? No. You did email it to them. Super. A bunch of columns, yellow and blue.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, Dynamite.
The overall funding rates, we recommended a 3.5% increase on the PPO. It has a higher inflationary piece. They're higher utilizers. And then on the, and that plan historically, was getting 9 to 13% increases on the trust. So that's it's an increase, but it's below medical inflation. And then on the HMO side, with the large surplus that the Blue Advantage was generating, we said we could reduce those by the 2.6% and still have ample cushion for 2021.
Just for my simple math, 3.5 minus 2.6, that's not a net because one group is significantly larger than the other group. Is that fair to say?
It's about all, Joe's fantastic at the numbers, and then you've got your different, your 83-17 splits and through all the rates and all the tiers, and he gets the head count. So it's about a wash as a funding increase to the county. Again, it could change based on who enrolls where for 2021, but if everyone stayed in the exact same plan, it's about a wash.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I wasn't anticipating that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any questions on this at all? Bill?
I'd like to move
So
it
moved.
forward.
John, second? Any discussion? Online? All in favor?
Just that
No.
single digit increases like that are, I mean, in recent years, it's been, we've seen increases that were 3 or 4 times that much. So.
Appreciate that. Gabby, go ahead and call.
Leonard,
Yes.
Allen,
Aye.
Barreiro,
Barreiro, yes.
Davis,
Davis, yes.
Boschheit,
Yes.
and Sturgis.
And Sylvia, there's a resolution B on this? That's what we just
That's
did,
what you
correct?
just did.
Okay, could we have a motion to place reports on file? John, second by Bill. Any discussion? Gabby?
Leonard,
Yes.
Allen,
Aye.
Barreiro,
Barreiro, yes.
Davis,
Davis, yes.
Boschheit,
Yes.
Sturgis.
Yes. Okay, what is the committee following us? So John, is that yours?
Admin.
Admin? What
Yep.
time do you guys start? 10?
Uh,
Could we grab executive session for just 5 minutes? Just on a quick philosophical conversation? We're going to discuss personnel Yeah, we could discuss personnel.
Mhm.
Motion by Bill, second by John. Okay.
Leonard,
Yes.
Allen,
Aye.
Barrero,
Yes.
Davist,
Yes.
Boscheit.
Yes.
Okay, we're in exec.
Just very briefly,
If you give me 1 second.
I'm
we
so
gotta
sorry.
Move
Okay.
everybody over to, Pat, you can step out.
I know.
on this. Thank you.
Breakout rooms.
That wasn't quite. Roger, you still there? Roger, you still there?
Yes, we're still here.
I was gonna say, we still have to actually, we actually have to adjourn the meeting in open session, not in closed session, so.
I know that.
Oops.
You probably should reopen the meeting and return to the open conference and then close the meeting, but I'm gonna say strike against surges. I'm gonna say that's a oops, and you just can't go back. You know, we've
I don't think anyone's gonna lose
nobody
on
voted on
street
any
right.
substantive agenda item, so I'm not gonna worry about it.
If everybody's still there, we just moved it to adjourn now. Just ignore what happened, you know, the part in closed
Yeah, I
doesn't
think
really
the
count.
recording secretary already shut that one
Yeah,
down.
she shut it down.
We're good.
All right,
We're good. You
I'm
had
good.
me and one other person watching, so I don't think you're gonna.
Yeah.
Probably an IT employee. I don't know.
I did do the roll call in the open. That
Yes.
helps.